Merry meet Annie here on the day before Midsummer's Eve 2011. Oh, I do love Litha. It's my favorite holiday. You knew I was going to say that. I love this turning of the year. It feels like a height of the tide or the peak of a crescendo. Everything led up, busy, 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 and then there's a pause. Right at that turning where we experience our longest day, and we have some sense of a decline about to begin, the shortening of the days, but not yet. We're not feeling it. We just know that it's coming. And it's a rising up and then it's pause. And what are we pausing for? Well, we made a lot of plans coming into the wheel of the year, and the turning of the year brought us to what we planted literally and figuratively, what we're growing, what we're taking care of, projects and goals and aspirations. And then there comes a point midway through that cycle, the one of stating, making so, nourishing, and then bringing to fruition the harvest. The midpoint in that cycle is kind of a review, a going over. Have I kept to my goals? Are my goals still the same? Taking stock. Did I not stick to my plan? If I didn't, why? Look it over. It's busy, 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 and sometimes we get so busy that we forget what we were aiming for. So it's a stop and almost a refocus to see if we're where we want to be. There's still time in the busy time of the declining summer to adjust, shift our course, shift a goal, change what we want the end result of something to be. We may be doing a second planning if the first planning didn't work out well. We may decide that some goal we had in place for community or work or some aspiration we have just needs to be shifted or even released. It's a stop and think. Pause on the turning of midsummer. I read someplace that Litha is an Anglo-Saxon term for calm. Now, I don't know if that's true, but if it is, I love it. And I've held on to that thought for many, many years. Calm. That somewhere in the rush of planting, nurturing, taking care of, being busy, there's a moment of calmness, kind of a reassessment. It's the calmness that you feel in the coolness of a summer night after the sun has been beating down all day, and in the coolness of a summer morning before the sun has warmed the earth. It's also the calmness very much at high noon on a summer day, when for a period of time there's a hush in the insect world and the animals all take to shade, letting that high noon, the epiphany of the sun, pass over. Calm. It's not a hush as if there is nothing going on. It's a sense that there's a lot going on, and for a minute I'm going to step back. I'm going to step back from it, and then I'm going to rejoin it. It's still very much a time of activity and purpose, but a momentary stepping back on the night of the longest day. It's a time of the year that I remind myself I need to focus if I have drifted and forgotten on the God of the Wicca and all that he is to me. And somewhere in a book, I think the book was by Kirk White. I may be misstating this. I forgot to bring my sources into my room when I'm videotaping. I actually was not overly fond of the book in general, but I loved the poetry in the book. And I did steal bits and pieces from it. And here's a call to the elements that I think feels like midsummer. It feels like noon. It feels like the power of midday. A way to hush and calm and listen to what the quarters can bring to us. And here's what those calls were. Hail to the gateway of the rising sun, ascending aura of renewal, bringing us clarity and illumination of mind and spirit. Hail to the gateway of the noonday sun, pounding, penetrating fire, stirring our souls with passion and drive. Hail to the gateway of the setting sun, fading solar fireworks, reminding us of the impermanence of life and the certainty of death. Hail to the gateway of the midnight sun, hidden source of light and life, sustaining us with hope during times of darkness. Solar Lord, worshipped by our ancestors of old, you who call the crops to reach toward the sky, you who gives us strength and vitality to all under your flaming orb, you who regulate the hour and the seasons, power, heat, drive, focus, life, we invoke and call you to descend. Oh, it's a wonderful meditation at Midsummer to do a noontime ritual where you stand facing each direction and think of the travel of the sun through our day, from dawn to noon to twilight to darkness. I love those meditations on sun at this time of year. The god and the goddess of Wicca at this time of year, king and queen, he has totally matured into he who partners with her and is champion and protector, king, leader in community. And they stand as equals, side by side, equal in their power. I love that image at the time of the year when it comes to our relationship to the deities of Wicca. Equal in power is constant throughout the year, but it's often equal in power in the sense of their own individual power and what they do separate from each other, no matter how they blend through each other throughout the year. Midsummer, they stand shoulder to shoulder. And the lesson they teach us is about community. My midsummer rituals will always be, in addition to honoring the sun and thinking about the longest day and the cycle of the sun through the day and through the seasons, my meditations will always be on community. We're not alone. We are something in relationship to those we love, to our families, to our circles, to our communities, to anything which we relate to as kin or community. It's a time to think about what we give, what we bring, what our talents are that we bring, and what we offer to the communities we are part of. For those of us here on YouTube, it's even a time to think about what do we share and bring to each other here, and what do we feel within this wider YouTube world is a community that we feel connected to. In the turning of the year, of course, we know he will become the sacrifice and she will become she who mourns. But for now, equal. Standing shoulder to shoulder, caring for and responsible for those they love, living in service to community. Very powerful part of Midsummer for me. It reminds me, have I volunteered to do anything outside of the norm recently? Have I gotten too house-centered and home-centered and pulled back? I tend to go quiet if I don't stop and think about who I am in relation to others. It's all about community. We are all kings and queens. We all hold a very powerful sovereignty. It's time to think about that and what it means. It also is a time to think about what we give over to that. Sometimes to make those commitments, we sacrifice other things knowingly. We make a decision. The power is what we give over to, and it's what we offer in service to. Oh, I love Litha. I just love it. It wasn't one of the holidays I originally celebrated because I originally celebrated the old holidays. And I am so glad that the 4 new holidays came into my life because, they each have their own poignancy and their own meaning, and this is a deeply meaningful holiday for me. It's also one that, when we look through our life and there's things that hang over our heads, So if we are God and Goddess looking forward to the turning of the wheel and the harvest and Lunasa coming up, if we allow ourselves to live that far forward, we know there will be losses, changes, maybe not feeling welcome, chaos, disruption, things that we have to struggle to embrace. Midsummer is very much about, though, the reality of knowing that life includes that. But there is the time to celebrate and be with and count blessings in the sense of who we are in relation to others, to celebrate our powers. That's the source we're coming to terms with the challenges, the lunasas that happen throughout the months of our life, the changes, the losses, the grieving. It's the feeling of midsummer. It is Litha within us that keeps us strong in the face of those kinds of changes, the power of high noon, the brightness of sun, the warmth of sun, the inspiration of sun, the stepping up, and being the grown-up that the god became when he stepped into the season of Litha. Very powerful time of year. But it's also about that calm. It's about the opportunity to pause, think it through. There's freedom in knowing that you can realign. You can shift your direction. You can aim slightly differently or vastly differently. You have the power. You have the power of controlling your life and the direction of your life. And it's a time to stop and think whether you want to take some shift in what you are becoming. You have the power every moment of the year to do that. This moment of the year is a reminder of that. So I think that I will leave you with a little bit of a reading from Annie Dillard. This came from The Meaning of Life. And it just feels like midsummer to me. So I wanted to share it with you. We are here to witness the creation and to abet it. We are here to notice each thing so that each thing gets noticed. Together we notice not only each mountain shadow and each stone on the beach, but especially we notice the beautiful faces and complex natures of each other. We are here to bring to consciousness the beauty and power that are around us and to praise the people who are here with us. We witness our generation and our times. Otherwise, creation would be playing to an empty house. I wish you blessings of the sun at Litha. And for my friends here at YouTube, thank you for being part of my house. I wish you mirth and reverence. Mary Part.